of the code of conduct should be reported to your immediate manager/supervisor. Should you not feel comfortable taking the issue to your immediate manager/supervisor, you may contact the Vice President, Corporate People Resources, or the General Counsel. Handling complaints. The person to whom the report was made must forward the report to the Vice President, Corporate People Resources, and the General Counsel. All complaints will be investigated thoroughly in a discretionary and respectful manner. Employees will normally be required to submit their allegations in writing, but such allegations will be kept confidential to the extent possible, keeping in mind Black&McDonald's obligation to conduct a full and thorough investigation and its obligation to comply with applicable law. No one may retaliate against an employee who has reported a breach or suspected a breach of this code in good faith. Allegations of retaliation will be investigated by Black&McDonald, and individuals who have been found to retaliate will be disciplined up to and including termination of employment. Personal privacy and personal information. Black&McDonald is committed to maintaining the accuracy, confidentiality, and security of all personal information collected in relation to its personnel, and will comply with the privacy legislation of each jurisdiction in which it operates. In the case of a transfer of personal information to affiliates or third-party service providers that process or store the personal information on Black&McDonald's behalf, the company requires that such affiliates and/or third parties have agreed to safeguard the personal information and use the information only for the purpose for which it has been provided. Labor exploitation. Black&McDonald is committed to comply with applicable Canadian, U.S., and international laws prohibiting forced labor and child labor. Workers and suppliers to the company are expected to comply with these laws and report any suspected breaches to these laws. Delegation of authority. Black&McDonald has established guidelines that require transactions and agreements affecting the company and its assets to be approved by individuals with an appropriate authorization level. You should review the delegation of authority policy and accompanying regional approval matrix showing approval levels applicable to the region where you work in areas such as estimates submitted to secure and/or subcontract work, execution of contracts and/or purchase order upon award of the work and any related subcontracts, procurement of materials and services, financial transactions, fixed asset purchases or leases, expense reports and investments. Human resources transactions including routine and non-routine transactions, corporate contracts and other legally binding agreements.
Operating a motor vehicle. For these purposes, a motor vehicle refers to any motor vehicle being operated on company business. This includes your personal vehicle in the event that you use it to travel for work, any vehicle that is provided to you by Black&McDonald to do company business, or any vehicle that is obtained using a car allowance. While on company business, you must operate a motor vehicle safely and in compliance with good business practices and all applicable legislation. This includes, but is not limited to, the provincial and state highway traffic acts and applicable provincial vehicle safety codes. These are the minimum acceptable standards, and Black&McDonald will take all reasonable and practical steps to ensure the safe operation of a motor vehicle for the protection of our employees, property, and the public. Personal use of a company vehicle. If Black&McDonald has provided you with a vehicle in order for you to perform your employment duties, in some circumstances, the company-provided vehicle is used for a purpose other than business. As an employee provided with a company vehicle, any personal use of the vehicle is considered a taxable benefit to you. Depending on the vehicle type, there are specific responsibilities and requirements to ensure compliance with Canada Revenue Agency guidelines related to the personal use of the company vehicle. Motor vehicle records. If you drive a company vehicle or you receive a car allowance, the company will require access to your motor vehicle record, MVR. Evaluating motor vehicle records is a proven method of reducing our risk by ensuring drivers are operating vehicles safely and within the rules of the road. Upon hire, and annually thereafter, the company will obtain and review MVRs for all drivers. After review, if the MVR shows a driver is a potential risk to the safety of others, the company will implement corrective action for that driver, up to and including suspension or rescindment of driving a company vehicle or driving a personal vehicle on company business. If you drive a company vehicle or receive a car allowance, you are required to inform your supervisor immediately of any changes to your MVR, such as convictions, administrative suspensions, or a medical condition that would impact one's ability to drive safely. Failure to notify on a timely basis may be grounds for the removal of driving privileges and further disciplinary action, up to and including dismissal. If you do not drive a company vehicle or receive a car allowance, you are not required to supply your MVR or advise your supervisor of any changes to your MVR, unless you are asked to perform a task that requires driving. In this case, you must disclose any suspensions or conditions that would impact your ability to drive safely. The collection and use of telematics information. Black&McDonald company vehicles are equipped with a global positioning system, GPS, monitoring device. Employees operating a company vehicle with a GPS monitoring device must be aware and acknowledge that telematics information is collected and stored. The telematics information collected generally relates to the business use of the vehicle and used for the purposes relating to the employment relationship. This includes retrieving a vehicle that has been stolen, locating a missing employee, to assist in ensuring employee safety, e.g. working alone, dispatch and routing, verifying customer disputes of time billed or work performed, vehicle odometer readings and distance traveled, auditing after-hour use of the company vehicle, validating third-party complaints, monitoring the frequency of speeding against the posted speed limits. Tampering with any GPS equipment installed on company vehicles is prohibited and subject to disciplinary action, up to and including dismissal. Additional expectations. In order to receive a car allowance or operate a company vehicle, you must have a valid, full license and complete one of these training courses as applicable. Driver policies and procedures, car allowance. Driver policies and procedures, company car. Additionally, if you receive a car allowance or are expected to drive a company vehicle, or if current expectations are modified and require you to access or operate a Black&McDonald company vehicle in the future, you must abide by the policies set out in this training. Corporate Quality Policy. Black&McDonald Limited recognizes that outstanding service and product quality are essential for our continued success. We are guided by our founder W.J. McDonald's philosophy to do things right and deliver lasting value. With more than 100 years in business, quality remains at the core of everything we do. As an integrated multi-trade service provider that safely delivers high-quality construction, facilities management, and technical solutions, Black&McDonald's policy is to provide our clients with products and services which fully meet their specified requirements and expectations while complying with all relevant regulations, codes, and standards. Our corporate quality framework integrates quality into every aspect of our operations. This quality policy is implemented by communicating the quality policy to all employees and posting it in our offices. Implementing a quality management system aligned to the context of the specific regional operations and industry requirements. Continually improving the effectiveness of the quality management system. Ensuring a clear understanding of our clients' requirements and responding promptly to their feedback. Providing the necessary resources to achieve our quality objectives. Enabling all our employees to meet quality requirements while achieving the customer's satisfaction by delivering value both on time and on budget.
This is fucking terrible. Can I fucking... I think so. Good afternoon, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Adrian Sidkowski. It's a little loud. Good afternoon, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Adrian Seidkowski. I'm a health and safety advisor with the Electrical Mechanical Group. So I know everyone's probably done this throughout the year, but we're going to be doing a little WHMIS refresher for you guys, for the ones that have and who haven't done it. So we can go to the next slide. Oh, wrong way. Sorry about that. So there are 4 fundamental questions that one should be able to answer when they've completed any sort of WHMIS program. So what hazards are associated with the hazardous products that you guys are using on your job sites? How you're supposed to protect yourself from those said hazards? What you guys should do in an emergency situation if there's a spill or there's contact with one of those hazardous products? And where do you get more information on a particular product that you're using on the job site? So WHMIS includes... There's 4 elements included in WHMIS. So classification, hazard groups, classes, categories, and pictograms. Labels, so those are the supplier labels or the workplace labels that you'll see on all the products that you have. Safety data sheets, so how to use it, how to use the product, any sort of safety considerations, any sort of emergency considerations, PPE that you guys need, and training. So this is the training part of the WHMIS. So when it comes to classification, there are 2 main hazard groups when it comes to any sort of hazardous product. So that's health and physical hazards. I won't go through all these with you guys. These are all available in your SDSs, or if you need that information, contact one of the safety advisors. But in short, WHMIS divides hazardous products into 2 groups, physical and health. And we'll go over those shortly after this. So for example, let me just flip. For example, this is an example of a physical hazard. So when it comes to any sort of flammable liquid, the hazard group it would be grouped into is physical or health, and a flammable substance would be physical. For example, you would break that down further into a hazard class, which would be a flammable liquid, and then finally the hazard categories, Cat 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys necessarily wouldn't have to know that information. That's where we come in to kind of advise you guys on it, but that's just a little tidbit of information. And again, it is the responsibility of the supplier to properly categorize the product, and we'll go over what happens if that isn't the case. So this is just an example of the pictograms. I'm sure everyone has seen this. Everyone has done WHMIS. Everyone has seen hazardous products. So I don't need to really go over this. This is something you guys should be familiar with. And if you're not, ask your safety advisor for any sort of information about it. Yeah. So when it comes to labeling for WHMIS, this is an incredibly important part. So all hazardous products must be labeled. So any sort of handled, used, or stored products must be labeled. So there's 3 important things that have to be on that label. So identity of the product, what product it is that you're using, associated hazards of that product, and then required precautions when it comes to use or storage. And then finally, there are 2 main types of WHMIS labels. Supplier labels, like we talked about, that the supplier is mandated to include. And then workplace labels. Those are labels that we'll go over right now, actually. So supplier labels must be written in both English and French. They can be bilingual or available in 2 separate labels. Additionally, the supplier label must have 6 things included on it at all times. What the product is, a pictogram identifying any sort of hazards, a signal word, hazard statement, precautionary statements when it comes to use, storage, handling, etc., and then the supplier identifier so that you guys contact that supplier if any sort of information is available, including the SDS. Now, workplace labels, so these are required whenever you receive a product that doesn't have a supplier label, or the situation happens where you have to transfer one product to another container that doesn't contain that supplier label. So whenever you guys do workplace labels in the field, there's a bit of a different requirement because of the fact that you guys are doing the workplace label. So there are no pictograms required, simply a product identifier, so matching the SDS's name specifically, what the product is, how to handle it, and a reference to the SDS for any sort of additional information. For an individual who may not know what that product is, to direct them to that SDS for any sort of information. So like I said, a workplace label is needed in the following cases. Hazardous product is made in the workplace. Hazardous product is decanted, so basically transferred from one container to another. And then a supplier label becomes lost or unreadable, and that happens a lot, like you guys know. So the SDS. So the SDS is basically the encyclopedia when it comes to any sort of hazardous product that you guys are using on the job site. So for example, the hazards of the product, how to use it, what to expect if you don't follow the advice of the SDS, what to do in an emergency, for example, do you need to call poison control, 911? They will go into the specifics of that. The SDS has 16 standardized sections. You guys don't have to remember that. It's more so for us to be able to tell you guys how in-depth that SDS is. And then SDSs must be made readily available on the worksite, whether that's a physical copy or we're beginning to transition into SDS or into QR codes actually. Just because when it comes to storing physical copies, there is a bit of a gap in being able to make sure it's the most up-to-date SDS on the product. So that's why we're beginning to transition into an electronic mode of having those SDSs on that job site. And if you guys aren't sure about any of this, ask your supervisor, ask your safety advisor, ask your PM. We're here to help you guys and advise you guys. We don't expect anybody here to understand that there's 16 sections or 6 sections on a supplier label. That's why we're here to help you guys out. And if you have any questions about this, like I said, reach out to us afterward, reach out to your foreman or your HSC advisor. I hope you guys were doing the test. If you guys haven't done the test, hopefully this information will kind of guide you guys in that direction. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be sitting over here if you guys have any clarification you need for the test. I think that's it for me. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. That's it for me.
Oh, that's me. Nice picture, buddy. Nice picture. Could everyone come in and get seated, please? Shannon, it's set up for Shannon here. I can't lift. Coming up, Shannon? I guess Shannon's going to let me do this alone up here. You coming up or what?
Welcome, folks.
Welcome, everybody, to the annual safety, whatever kind of meeting we want to call this. Sorry. Anyway, just a quick agenda. This is going to go well, a little more rather than watching and listening. Come on in, find a seat, people. Come on in. Lots of ones up front. It's like a church. Come to the front. Anyway, we're going to just start with a few things like a safety moment, human resources, health and safety. Then there's going to be a couple updates with Shannon's group on 3505, my group with 3510. And then we'll have a regional update with Anthony. He'll come up to a regional update. And then we're going to have another safety video. That's out of order here, but anyway. And then we'll close out with a draw. There'll be a nice little draw for hockey tickets at the end for a winning couple. Ha.
Anybody who doesn't have a seat, as Tim said, there's some tables up here. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Lots of seating up at the front.
Oh, got most people in here. We're going to get ready to rock and roll.
We're good.
All right, now I want to introduce up here. We're going to have Diego, our safety manager. Welcome.
Don't worry, this guy has more hair than me. Kind of looks like King of the Hill. Hello and welcome to the all-staff meeting for 2026. My name is Diego Grado. I am the Health and Safety Manager for the Southern Ontario region. So when we talk about safety moments and we talk about lessons learned and line of fire, I think it's very important that we focus on the aspects of why we conduct these meetings. These meetings are very important for our groups so that we can share lessons to everybody. One of the ones I'd like to discuss when it comes to the line of fire and what does the line of fire mean? It means putting yourself in a position of harm in between objects. It could be tools, it could be machinery. We had an event. It was a very serious event at our Project Eagle site, where one of our workers who was operating a Kubota pinned another worker from another company in between the Kubota and a truck. That worker was taken to hospital where he was observed, and thankfully he did not sustain any serious injuries, but his leg was pinned. Now, in saying that, that's a prime example of lessons learned. When we have events, we've had events in this region when it comes to things like injuries through operating tools, equipment, that could have potentially led to serious harm. Now, thankfully, that person that I'm discussing, he's fine. He's at home right now. He's on modified work. He will be returning to work shortly, but it could have been much more serious. And this is very important, especially to this group, that we communicate these messages to individuals when we do have events, that placing yourself in the line of fire is not worth it. It's not. Take your time, do your job correctly. Pre-job hazard assessments, our standard operating procedures, project safety plans. These are all tools that we utilize to assess hazard and risk, okay, and make sure that everybody goes home. Thank you. Next up, Nancy Wong.
That's not me. The eyes are not small enough. Okay. HR's agenda, welcome. Regards to the employee survey, that's one phase of our agenda, new hires, service award, and International Women's Day. Sorry. My boss is not laughing. Okay, for those who've done the employee survey, trades, thank you very much for completing those surveys. For those trades are not here, you'll be getting the surveys via site. For the salaried employees, your survey will be coming online in around April the 2nd, so it's important that you complete it, and thank you in advance. Okay, now. For those new hires who started in January 26th, can I get you to stand up, please?
Nobody started.
Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
First guy wins the hockey tickets.
Okay, we're going to do the service award. Okay, can I get Anthony to come up with the DM, Shahab, David, Justin, Tim, and Shannon? And Rizella, can you assist? With a 5-year service award, can the following employees come up? Bina. Bina, 5 years. I understand Scott and Joseph are not here at site, and Martini. Tony. Riley. Andrew. Rosita. Peter. Farouk. David. Years. Craig. Bruno. Vincent. $25-year. Richard. $30-years, Keith. I will see Keith. I will see Keith tomorrow. Ready? My boss, Shahara.
Just a quick shout out. I need a little stool back here, but that's okay. Hi. Everyone can see me, hear me. Hi, I'm Shahara. I'm the Director of HR for Southern Ontario Region. Just want to say thank you for coming out. I know it's a lot to coordinate in your day, but we didn't want the day to go without recognizing what March 8th was. For those of you who may not know what that is, it is International Women's Day. It's kind of turned into an International Women's Month. What that means is it's not just for women. We're here to thank every one of you who contribute to Black&McDonald and make it what it is today. When I see the amount of service, recognition that is in the room, when we speak to new hires, we really talk to about how this is a family company and how you have people here for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years and on, and it's great to see that. So we would like to give everybody a big shout out, but just a special note to those women in our trades groups and in our salary groups to say, keep contributing, keep pushing, and we will get there. So thanks for coming out, and hopefully you guys got your stickers. Those are for your, wherever you want to put them, binders, hard hats, cell phones, whatever you like. But a big warm thank you, and hopefully you guys will do something special for March. That's it, that's all.
I need to raise it a little bit higher because I'm taller. So we're going to discuss some updates from health and safety, go through some performance, our statistics. We're going to look at causal factors and incident trends and lessons learned that we've learned over the last quarter. We're also going to have a safety video that was picked out by Mr. Tim Peters. It's very impactful for this group. So when we look at statistics, right, I didn't want to just throw up a whole bunch of numbers. I actually want to explain how we get to those numbers. And I think that's one of the most impactful aspects of when we look at stats and why it's important to us, our group. When we look at statistics, what we're looking at is identifying patterns, right? So what are some of the patterns? What are some of the causes that led to these events? We're looking at for reliable information, accurate data. And when we look at that, it's based on 100 workers. So 100 workers working 2,000 hours a year equals 200,000. So that's how we base our stats on. So we take the number of events that we had, we divide them by the hours worked collectively as a group, and then we divide that by 200,000. That's how we get that number. So when you hear our target is 1, what that represents is 1 worker out of 100 will have some type of event over the course of a year. That is called our total recordable incident rate. Now we have a total incident rate which calculates also the first aids. Now, those numbers are a little bit higher. That means that we're having events over the course of a year, and you're going to look at our statistics collectively in the Southern Ontario Mechanical Electrical Group. And then we're going to look at what are some of the trends and what are some of the things that are occurring within our region that are leading to the events that are happening on our job sites. The most important aspect here is to make sure that everybody goes home safely. And everybody goes home with all their digits, okay? And that they're able to live a healthy life with their families. So when we look at stats within our group, okay, what we're looking at is the total number of hours worked. So that's 497,936 hours were worked within the Southern Ontario Mechanical Electrical Region this year. And that is from November until January. That's where these statistics were taken. We had 1 modified duty and 3 medical aids, which gives us a total of 4. So now if you look right over, that means that we have a total recordable incident rate of 1.61. That means 1.61 individual, I know there's no such thing as a 0.6 of a person, but will get injured over the course of a year. Now, when we factor in the amount of first aids that we've had over the course of that year, that's 8, that equals 12. That means that almost 5 individuals will have some type of event over the course of a year. Collectively, as a group, we understand that this is not acceptable because we want to make sure that everybody goes home. We can only do that with everybody's help in this room. And that's looking out for each other, okay? Looking at the risk tools that we have available to you, taking the time to perform those. Now, if we take a look at the stats, and one of the things that I kind of like blew me away was I had the opportunity to be a part of the leadership conference last week, or 2 weeks ago. And the organization has driven collectively, and that's on all of Canada and the US, 86 million kilometers over the course of a year, which is staggering. It's crazy to think. In this group alone, we've driven 553,870 kilometers with 0 events. For now. There's a few incidents that are coming in this month. Collectively, as a group in the Southern Ontario region, we had 16,540 kilometers, 1,044 kilometers driven with 15 non-preventable, 12 total, 15 non-preventable, and then we had some preventable incidents that have occurred for a total of 27. Now, when we look at factors, contributing factors, what are some of the factors that contributed to events in our industry, right? So unsafe position for the task, that is leading. That is leading the way for incidents that have occurred in our region. Whether or not you're using power tools and accidentally, you come into contact with your fingers, and we've had that. We've had 2 events that have led to stitches in this industry, people coming into contact with a drill bit, a hole saw. Those are events that have occurred. We've had muscle strains, slips, trips, and falls. Right? These are all events that have occurred in this industry, and we utilize this data for when we put together documents, safety talks, supervisor calls. Now, in saying that, some of the things that we are looking at through our lessons learned is that most of our injuries are involving hand and fingers and eyes, right? We utilize PPE. We have mandatory cut level 6 gloves that you have on your sites. Those gloves, okay, when we say cut level 6, that's for the cuts that potentially can go through the glove. It's an abrasion 4, which means, if you're rubbing it up against something, abrasion, and then a puncture, where it will puncture the glove. But the glove is not your primary line of defense there for controls. You have to look at how to prevent those injuries, eye injuries as well, struck by events, unsecure materials, so materials falling. I don't know if anybody heard of an event that happened in Niagara Falls. One of our clients had a serious event on one of their projects. Workers were lifting a electrical unit using a telehandler, and the load was not secured, and it actually fell off the forks and basically crushed the worker. I'm not even sure if to even answer whether or not that individual survived, but I know he was in serious condition, right, in hospital. So securing loads, we've actually had events here where we have had property damage on loads that were not properly secured. And secured could mean lots of things, right? They could mean, taking a ratchet strap and strapping the loads to the mast of the telehandler, or it could be lots of other things, right? Making sure that skids are properly secured, they're in good condition when they're being transported. So using proper body positioning, recognizing hazards, securing materials, site conditions, making sure that we do our proper housekeeping, analyzing hazards. These are all ways that we as individuals can ensure that our sites are safe for everyone. Strengthening your pre-job hazard assessments, taking your time, going through your pre-jobs, improve materials, secured practice, maintain proper body positioning. Remember I just mentioned about line of fire? And, just being vigilant on your jobs and ensuring that, everybody's wearing the proper PPE in this case. The video is, I think you may have to click on the video. Oh, no.
I woke up that morning, said goodbye to Laurel, opened up our son's room and checked in on our 2-year-old. He was sound asleep and had a cup of coffee. So I jumped in the truck and drove to Everett, Washington. Weather was bad, and I was the first one there. We got our rigging all set up and went to the supervisors, and they went up and checked all our safety lines and gave us the okay to start power washing. Towards the end of the day, we got to a location of 30 feet. So it was my idea to say, hey, let's pick it up and set it on the inside of the handrail. I was tied off at the time. I unhooked my lanyard, hooked it back to myself, and my coworker put his hands up and said no. So I climbed up on the handrail, and then something odd happened. Something's not right. I was thrown back about 10 feet and down 30 feet. The hard hat came off, safety glasses came off, and I'm still almost in a panic. And at that point, I was completely lost. I didn't know which way was up. And I landed on the back of my head first. So I tried to take a little breath and I couldn't breathe. And then the pain went away. It got warm. It was peaceful. I don't know what you call that transition, but I was okay with it. I was okay. And then while I was in that transition, I felt somebody touch me, and a tiny, tiny breath finally came. And it was my coworker who had run down the 3 flights of stairs. And then he went down and got help.
It was Friday night, and it was about 5 o'clock, about time to go home. And my supervisor came to me and she said, "You have a phone call." Nobody wants to get that phone call. And nobody wants to make that phone call. All they could tell me was that my husband had been in a serious accident and that I had to get to the hospital right away. So, between my tears and the rain on the windshield, I don't know really how I made it. I don't know how long it took. I just kept thinking, how would I tell our son his daddy's not coming home? It's not worth it. You don't understand how many people are affected and how deeply they're affected when you have an accident. Just being unsafe is just selfish. And just, it's not worth it.
That was a very impactful video. Oh, we don't want it to play again. I have received a lot of calls in the past of events that have occurred. I have had to speak to individuals, families, when events have occurred. It really does get to you. It takes a momentary lapse in judgment. It takes seconds for a major event to occur. Something similar to this. Okay? We had an event, some of you guys actually might remember this, KPMG, which was Highway 7 in Jane. A drill fell from the 13th story and struck a worker right on the top of the hard hat. That bounced 30 feet away. That individual, I don't even know if he survived. I know he was paralyzed. He was in a coma for a long time, and his family had to deal with that traumatic event. And how does it affect your families is the key. One of the things I don't talk about is, and it's going to kind of make me emotional because I come from a family whose father was injured. My father fell 4 stories and broke his back in construction. He was an iron worker. He fell, and for 1 month, he laid on his stomach. And he couldn't work. And then once he got better, it was like, you have to put food on the table, so you have to go back to work, and you're forced to go back to work. And so he suffered for, I'd say maybe 30 years. He shattered this side of his face, had lost all his teeth, was paralyzed in this side of his face, severe back trauma. And so we grew up with a father who was always in pain. It wasn't fun. Then he died. So, at the end of the day, we have to look out for each other and we have to make sure that we work safe. And that's the bottom line. Thank you. Come on, Tim.
Well, I'm Tim Peters. Nobody ever knows me. I know most of you do. I look after the sheet metal division of 3510. Anyway, I just want to give a quick update what's going on in our world here at just with the sheet metal and jobs on the go. As you can see up top here, we got like Ramsey Wright, Lash Miller, Microsoft. We just got another phase at Microsoft, Highland Creek. We got a big job going there. Toronto South Detention Center, Iron Mountain, Scarborough Subway expansion, Metrolinx Heritage Road, and Victoria College. There's a few other little jobs in that, but a lot of work on the go, but it could be a lot more, and it's coming. Like jobs coming up, CAMH, I got a couple floors over at CAMH, helping out Modern over there, some work. Cadetta, big job coming out in Brampton, a nice job. EMS, just around the corner in Scarborough. And Trillium Hospital, the patient towel coming up in a couple of years. And just yesterday in a meeting, and just got a handshake, letter of intent coming on the Ontario Line South over track duct, which is, we got the mill writing to put in the big fans for the new subway system that's going in. And give a couple little pictures of what's going on here. Let's go the right way around. Anyway, it's the south line is the blue down there of the stations that are going in. We're putting all the exhaust fans or the vac fans down in below, ventilation fans. And we're also bidding right now Osgood and Queen of all of Black&McDonald with electrical and mechanical. We're all looking at two big stations that we're also looking at right now. But what we have right now is a tunnel ventilation and this over track duct. What I mean, well, here's a picture of this is actually, they're called Libby and Corky, of the two, just came in, the two tunnel, they're gonna be doing the tunnels for the subway station. So if you ever get a chance to watch any videos on this, it's quite remarkable what these machines do. Two tunnels going through, and this is what's gonna be doing all these Ontario Line, all the subways in GTA. Just showing here, you can see on the subway station, I don't know if anybody traveled the subway, I'm sure they have. If they ever noticed, on these ones here, there's glass doors before you get on the train. This is all going to be the new subways where there's going to be a glass where you can't go onto the tracks. So now they have to open to get on. That has created such, and where we come in as Black&McDonald to install this special ductwork over top of the tracks so that the smoke evac system will work. Without the doors, it's easy. They can turn on the fans and it sucks it all out. Because that's in there now, it changes everything, and this is where we got a big, probably worth about $25 million just to put this special ductwork above the tracks. So this one job that we just secured, which is fantastic for us. And there's more of this to come, and it's all future work coming up. So that's just an update on what's going on in my world. I'm going to invite Shannon up here to give a little update on what's going on in his world of the smaller contracts. Lost the picture. There we go. One of those. Find one. Just go forward or backwards.
One of them works. There we go. Okay. Hey, folks. For those who don't know me, my name is Shannon Kemp. I think I know most of the people in this room. I guess it was about 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I first started the division manager role for special projects. That's my current position today. It's been quite a ride over the last 2 years or so. Team has done really an exceptional job at making this group something really special. Last year we closed out about north of $25 million in business. With just keep in mind, the ICI teams are very big. My group is a smaller team. Our projects are smaller in scale, but higher in volume typically. There isn't a ton of people in the group, but it's a collective effort, and they do exceptional work. They really do. This year to date, we're just north of $5 million in completed sales. A little bit slower to the start of the year. We're really busy electrically. We've had a bit of a slow mechanical start to the year. However, that was up till the end of January, and then in February, all the items that we were pursuing and bidding over the last few months have started to land. So just in the month of February alone, we've secured or are in the process of securing just north of $10 million in new work, which is going to boost our backlog pretty significantly. Unity Health down at St. Mike's, so we've got a couple of projects on the go right now at St. Mike's, one through Ellis Don, which Morrow, Peter, and Spencer and the team are executing right now. It's an electrical project. This one here is direct to Unity Health. It's a renovation of their main electrical room. including redoing some of the feeders coming in from Toronto Hydro. So we'll be doing that in conjunction with our civil and high voltage team. SHN Cath Lab, so Charlie and the team down at Scarborough Health, Giancarlo, Spence, doing a great job down at the hospital, continuing to secure work down there, both direct to the hospital and through the general contractors. Cath Labs is, it's about $1 million project. It's both M&E, and there's 3 more to come after this one is complete. TTC Spadina extension, so we secured a project with Bronte Construction. They're going to extend the platform at TTC Spadina. That's civil, mechanical, and electrical. We secured a new project with Quadreel in February, a BAS improvement in their East Tower. And then we've got some investigation work that we've secured with Canadian Murphy at the TTC Bloor Young improvements. That's going to keep a couple of crews busy for probably 6 months here once we finalize the contract over the next week or two. On the horizon, I didn't list everything there. I just sort of listed one job of note. For anybody who's familiar with the hospital work going on in the city, there's a big project planned for Scarborough Health at the Centenary building. They're going to redo their emergency department. We've been working on it the last, I'd say 3-4 months. We've been working on this proposal and tender. Richard, May, the whole team has really come together to put in a price on that. We don't know for sure yet, but we've heard some good news that mechanically we're in a very good position on this job, and that's a 4-year project that should secure some considerable backlog over the next couple of years. So I just threw up some pictures of some work that we closed out last year. Like I said, not all this is fully closed out, but most of the work is done. We're just finalizing some things on some of these jobs. This is the UTM Davis building. We were installing a new UPS. This had to be hoisted up on top of, it's the Mississauga campus for University of Toronto. This hoist was done, I guess it was last fall, sort of entering into the winter. We were delayed quite a bit, but the lift went off without a hitch. It was, the crane had to be set up over an underground tunnel, so it was a little trickier than just setting up the crane and lifting it up, but Mikey Peets and Kev did a good job at getting this done without incident. This is our St. Mike's job. So this is our work package 1C with Ellis Don. The 2 pictures on your left there, I guess it's your left. You see Peter, he's getting ready to, all dolled up, going to put some cable on the outside of the building. We had to hoist a lift up to one of the lower roofs so we could access the work area. And on the right over there is the dog guide facility. So for anybody who knows about the dog guide facility, we were working on that job sort of throughout last year. Towards the end of it, there was a bit of a hiccup towards the end of last year, and work halted. Not anything because of Black&McDonald or any of the trades on site, but work did come to a halt. But this was Joey Lacena's team, Vito, JP, all the folks that were working hard at that facility. This is, and I guess our sheet metal group too, right? They were a big part of it, hoisting up all the units here onto the roof. And then this is sort of a recent project that we've been poking away at down at Scarborough Health. We had a boiler room. Basically, it's become a renovation of their mechanical room, but it was initially a boiler replacement. We had to replace 3 boilers. It was quite the undertaking. As you can imagine, these older facilities and the infrastructure is quite congested. It's old. It's not in the greatest working condition. So this project sort of grew as over time as we were executing it. It was pretty challenging to get all this equipment in the mechanical room, but Giancarlo, Charlie, Spence, the whole team down there did a great job at sorting this out for the hospital. There's a few emergencies along the way, but they responded as they always do and executed a successful project. The hospital is happy, and because of that, work continues to come, obviously both electrically through Charlie and his team down at Scarborough, but also mechanically now. So yeah, that's a bit of an update on 3505, our special projects group. I'll invite Anthony up now to give the regional update and sort of wrap everything up. Thanks, guys.
Afternoon, everybody. Normally I get up here and we're a half an hour over, and I'm like, I'll finish this as fast as possible, but looks like we're a half an hour early today, so I still won't drag it on too long. Get everybody out of here. I'm going to start with safety. Actually, first I'm going to start with a little bit of information for everybody here. I don't know if everybody understands when we talk about our region. In Black&McDonald, we call it summer, 3500, what that represents. That's basically the mechanical, electrical construction in the GTA. That's indoor work mostly. Our utilities, 4200, is the electrical work outside and civil as well. So this group here and online today, we're all 3500. So our years are measured October to November 1st to the end of October. So last year, we had our best year ever for safety. It was fantastic. We broke one for the first time that I've ever been here. Really, really big deal. Really big deal. Especially when you consider we had the most man hours we've ever had as well. So that was fantastic, and for that I just round of applause everybody. We also in January, our leader in safety, Wes, retired. Very happy to see him ride off into retirement and enjoy his retirement, but sad too, because Wes was a big reason why our safety culture in Black&Mac is so good, especially in our construction region. But happily, Diego has taken over now. I have total faith in Diego. He's going to continue that on and improve it and keep bringing us forward. So welcome aboard, Diego. We did have a bad start to this year so far. So from November 1st to today, it has not been a good start for safety. And that's not good, right? Like, that means that people we know are being hurt, and unnecessarily hurt, right? I truly do believe all safety incidents in construction are avoidable. So we've got to do something for each other to avoid that. So, we have the See Something, Say Something program here at Black&McDonald. It's important that we follow that. It's important. That's from a first-term apprentice right to our most seasoned supervisors, to any office staff. And it's really important that we realize what people mean when they do say something to you about it. It's not a criticism of you, or to say, are you an idiot? How could you do it like this? It's to say that, hey, I actually care that you don't get hurt. And the reality is, we probably care more about other people not getting hurt than we do about ourselves, right? So this weekend, got to change the smoke detectors, get up on the ladder, can't reach the ceiling. If I stand on the final step, I can reach the ceiling. So I called my wife and I'm like, hey, need you to hold the ladder. I can only reach the smoke detector if I stand on the top rung. So she's like, okay. So I'm like about to start climbing up it, and she goes to me, she goes, do you really think this is a great idea? And I was like, probably not, but it'll take me a minute. And she goes, what would you do if somebody did that at work? And I go, okay. So I climbed down and I went to the hardware store and I bought a bigger ladder and changed the smoke detector, no problem. But that's just me not using common sense. I know better, right? I know I shouldn't do it, and I just think, I'll be okay, I'm fine, like it's going to take 2 minutes. I've done it for many, many years. That's where a lot of our incidents happen, right? Guys getting cut because they're not paying attention where they put their hand, guys falling or tripping because they're not paying attention. A lot of it is common sense. And if you do see your worker, we've seen in that video today, I didn't know that video was going to come up, but that guy's partner said, no, don't do it. And he didn't listen. He knew better, right? He was probably the senior guy. He knew better. He went and did it. Destroyed his whole life. Destroyed his family's life. Like, he's so lucky he survived it. I don't imagine many people survive a 30-foot fall. So don't take offense when people do pull you up on a safety thing. It's not a criticism. It's just that they actually care that you don't get hurt. And one thing I've noticed over the past few years is you know, a lot of the time the guys who do get hurt, they're our best, hardest working guys, right? And they're trying to get things done and get it done efficiently, and that can lead to accidents. So don't take risks, please. We had International Women's Day on Sunday, so thank you to all the great women that work with us here. We really do appreciate you guys. You guys rock. So. I mentioned last year the duration, so it's November 1st to the end of October. So last year we did, in this region, $395 million in sales we completed. That's the most we've ever completed by a substantial amount. In that, we did 1.8 million man hours. So I don't know if anybody knows, but that's a hell of a lot of man hours. We have currently a backlog today of over $700 million. So that means we've got good, consistent work for the next 2+ years to continue at the rate we're at now. This region, at this moment in time today, we have 1,055 employees in our region. So, you know, it's a lot of people, a lot of work. A lot goes into getting that work. One, you know, the execution of the work we do, that's one of our biggest selling tools. Coming up with new, better ways to do things that the guys do out in the field. High safety stats. Believe it or not, the compliance training that everybody did today, I know maybe some people find it a little bit tedious, but we have to prove that we do those things when we're chasing certain level of jobs. So like, those things are really, really important. If we want to continue to do the big work we do, all these things factor into it. We have to do it. So thanks to everybody today for participating and taking part in that. That really does help us. Shannon and Tim, thanks for sharing what you guys had there. You know, it was nice to see the two groups that were spotlighted today. We don't spotlight them enough. They play a huge role in our region, in our organization, in Black&McDonald. You know, a lot of people probably don't know, but you know, we got that huge project down in Windsor, the Stellantis project, or I guess LG now. You know, that was driven from our sheet metal capabilities, right? That was actually what opened the door for us to get into that project. We have an entire wastewater division now that was driven out of that special projects group back when Dave Burrows was there. These groups are really, really important to the success of Black&McDonald. So it was nice to see them get the spotlight that they deserve. Not much left to go, guys. We got the hockey tournament coming up. So is anybody here playing in the hockey tournament? We got not a single member of the hockey team. Oh, we got one. We've only got two members. It won't surprise anybody to know Toronto, although it is the biggest market cap and, you know, probably has the most money spent on the hockey team, has not won in a very, very, very long time. So if there is anybody who thinks they're quite the player, you know, or superstar AAA player, probably should have went to the NHL, but, you know, couldn't stand to leave home. If you guys could reach out to Mike Clark and Joe Lombardo about how to go about getting on the hockey team, it'd be nice if we could compete again. Like, it's, you know, it's embarrassing getting beaten by Hamilton and Atlantic. And they barely have enough employees to make up a hockey team, so. I'll bet my salary on that one, Dave. We've got, most of you guys would have seen the golf tournament was announced today. It sells out fast, normally within 2 days. It might already be sold out, Dave, I don't know. Oh, it hasn't even come out yet, sorry, maybe I just seen the email. But when it comes out, if you want to play in it, get out of fast. It's a great day out. We always have a good time. Sometimes people have a bit too much fun, but you know what, it's a Saturday. It's one not to be missed. Dave and the team do a great job organizing it. And then to wrap things up, I'm going to do a little raffle. I got 3 tickets for the Leafs on Thursday night. If you are on our Windsor site and you win, just let me know. I'll arrange something different instead of Leafs tickets for Thursday night. To make the raffle real easy, I've got a list of all the employees on my laptop there. We'll just do a random number drive. I need somebody, a volunteer who could help me. Anybody have ChatGTP or some sort of AI on their phone ready to rock? Copilot? No one. Oh, we got one guy. Okay, this guy. Brilliant. What's your name? Ricky. Thanks, Ricky. Ricky, could you ask ChatGPT to give you a random number, a completely random number between 2 and 1,056? I'll have to look at it. Okay, you tell me the number, Ricky. Get up there, Ricky. All right.
The number is 742. That's 742.
It's actually somebody I know, not Rick though. Matt McClellan is the winner. So, the Mira, could you just check there so people don't think I cheated? Correct. Okay, good. And on that note, thanks everybody for coming. We really appreciate you guys. What a year we had last year. This year's off to a great start. Let's keep it going. Let's keep everybody safe and drive safe home.